Joe Taslim is, in my opinion, the best fighter in TV and film right now. And so I was honestly just impressed that Mechad Brooks could keep up with him. That's an axe kick, an ankle kick, tornado kick, and then catches the kick and then rolls in and does a spinning back fist. And then the two of Texas switch right here where they switch. Hey friends! John here, and welcome to The Martial Actor. Today, I, a black belt, am reacting to Mortal Kombat. I was super stoked when I heard that Joe Taslim was playing SubZero in the movie. SubZero is my favorite character in the Mortal Kombat franchise, and I'm a huge fan of Joe Taslim. If you like what you see, hit that like and subscribe, and let's dive right in. This is Hiroyuki Sanada. He was in the Wolverine movie, he's in the Westworld series, and I like most of the things that he's been in. The first thing that stood out to me in the first fight of this film was the fact that they were playing with the idea of reality and bending what is real, and that was evident because of the way he's wielding his longsword. He's using it in a reverse grip, which you see in movies and TV shows all the time, but usually a reverse grip is accompanied in a dual wielding sense, and you usually only see it with daggers. He is using it with a long sword with only one hand. And that is super impractical, but that's the nature of Mortal Kombat. We're in this fictional universe and we're playing with the idea of combat. Also, Hiroyuki is in his young 60s. He's moving really well for a dude his age, so I was impressed. Now, for people who are unaware of the franchise, this is a huge signature icon. Hiroyuki is playing Scorpion, and Scorpion uses a makeshift kunai turned into like a whip chain kind of thing. So you can see here he's using it like a whip chain, and that's very similar to how it is used in the video game. It's not exactly accurate. This doesn't accurately reflect how that weapon would move in reality, but again, they're playing with the laws of physics, and we're in this high fantasy world, so I don't mind. That was a really nice spinning hook kick. Behind! And now we get to see the setup of Scorpion versus SubZero. I thought that this was a really interesting take. It's very narratively compelling to see the backstory of these characters and see the people behind these really famous personas. It was really interesting. That movement isn't super realistic. You can't get that type of force from a whip chain without first having pre-existing momentum. So you would need to be swinging it or have it wrapped around your body or something like that. Now, this was my favorite bit of choreo and perhaps the entire film. You just get to see Hiroyuki Sanada versus Joe Taslim. They're just two dudes stripped down with a sequence of moves that fit really well together, and it was pretty impressive. And I really love how SubZero is using a tiger's claw right there, both for their strike and then also the choke. It is really indicative of how aggressive his character is, and it fits within the story. I love seeing choreo support character. And this is a great sequence right here. This is a sequence of 8 or 10 moves that was connected without a cut that looked really great, really showcasing Joe Taslim's talent as a martial artist. That was a really tricky move. And the pacing for this fight is also really good. They're using these really fast combos, but then they're juxtaposing it with these pauses that let the audience catch up. It's good pacing. That was a little bit of a strange choice in the edit because the shot immediately preceding showed Scorpion kind of hunched over, and then SubZero came in and stabbed him while he was up. I think you see quite a bit of those like small discrepancies in this film, and I chalk it up to the fact that Simon McCoy, who directed this, had never directed anything before. Young starts with a really strong stepping stool kick and then quickly follows up with a really powerful series of strikes. I thought it was a really strong way to showcase his physicality. However, very quickly the tables start getting turned. Young is a new character to the Mortal Kombat franchise. It's someone they invented for the movie, so I was interested to see how his character would develop over the course of the film. But he's played by Lewis Tan. Lewis Tan actually played Shatterstar in Deadpool 2, but he's also in 2 different TV shows, Into the Badlands and also Wu Assassins, which I have not seen either of them. So comment below if you've seen them, tell me what you think, and let me know if they're worth reacting to. As soon as this fight went to the ground, Cole started losing. I mean, you can obviously tell that his strong suit is being on his feet. This is definitely indicative of real life. Like, fighters have different strengths and weaknesses, and so if you know you're better at one thing, you should try to position your fight so that you're using that thing most of the time. If Cole isn't good on the ground, he should try to get back on his feet as soon as they go to the ground. Jax is played by Mechad Brooks. Mechad is in the Supergirl TV show. He was also in a show called Necessary Roughness. He was also in True Blood, but he hasn't done as much film, so it was cool to see him in this. SubZero immediately shows the difference in power between these two characters, which is also indicative of their martial arts training. Joe Taslim is, in my opinion, the best fighter in TV and film right now, and so I was honestly just impressed that Mechad Brooks could keep up with him. That was a really nice spinning reverse crescent from SubZero. And that was a tricky kicking combo. A jump spinning crescent there. And that was a really great back fist. I love seeing back fists in choreo. They're so fun. So again, we get these tiger's claws, and I think that it's a really cool thing to see when choreographers throw in very particular movement and move sets for characters that enforce their characterization. It enforces the narrative, and it's really good. And this, I mean, it's just like the indulgent Mortal Kombat stuff that we want to see. And then this stunt right here, I think the way they did it was by stitching 2 different shots together. The first half was probably done with a stunt double, but then the second half where it hits and then falls was probably a dummy, and then they stitched it together.
Hey! I think I know what's going on here. You jealous?
This is a really quick clip, but I wanted to include it for a very specific reason. Sonya and Kano are played by Jessica McNamee and Josh Lawson. Now, I have never seen either of them in anything else, and I don't think that either of them have any type of formal martial arts training. However, you can hide the fact that actors don't have years of martial arts training by using quick cuts. This sequence is just over 10 seconds long, but they use something like 14 or 15 different cuts. They're moving between wide shots, close shots, action shots. They use that really cool aerial twisting shot, and it makes it a really dynamic sequence that hides the possible inefficiencies that actors may have because they don't have years of training.
All you can do.
Kang Lao is played by Max Huang, and this is his first movie with a speaking role, but he's actually done a ton of things as a stunt performer. He was in The Foreigner, he was in the Police Story reboot, he was in the Kingsman movie, and he's a part of the Jackie Chan stunts team, which is so cool. And you can just tell by the quality of movement that this guy knows what's up. That was a 720 roundhouse kick. Those kicks are tricky, so it was super cool that they added that. And I love it when movies give fighters time to flourish like that. Like this kind of thing, it's so stylistic and it's really fun to do, and it's not hard. I also like how they are letting him take the hat off here because now we get to see his face. We get to see that Max Huang is actually doing all of these stunts. That was a jump spinning crescent kick. Looked amazing. Yeah, all of his stuff was great. I really hope we get to see more stuff from him in the future.
Will only get you so far.
Oh, that was great. Really. Good stuff.
Liu Kang is played by Ludi Lin, who was in the Aquaman movie, but he was also Zack in the Power Rangers reboot, and so I was stoked to see him in this. I also really love seeing these hand movements that he's doing. This kind of stuff is very classical kung fu. They're used in introductions to forms all the time, so it's cool to see in the movie. None of this stuff right here is that hard, but it's a great way of incorporating comedy. It's really important to have that levity and those breaths of fresh air in action films.
That the only move you know, mate.
Plus, both the sweep and the jump are iconic Mortal Kombat moves. They were fun little Easter eggs to add.
Yeah, put a f***ing shirt on, Magic Mike.
This is another example of the strange directorial choices that were made. Cole gets thrown through this random ice wall and he has his tonfas right there. But then right here, he does not have them.
The Hasashi bloodline will end.
And then we cut to here where he has them again. I like that they gave Cole tonfas. I think it's a really great choice. I don't think any other character in the Mortal Kombat universe had them. And the fact that he has one normal one and one bladed one is a very interesting choice as well. I don't think I've ever seen that. But as you can see, they weren't always incorporated in like the best way. So there were definitely some continuity issues in the movie.
The blade of Hanzo. Get over here!
And now we get to see the showdown that everyone who watched this movie wants to see, Scorpion versus SubZero. And I'm glad to see that after his thousands of years in hell, Scorpion finally learned to wield the longsword the normal, correct way. Jokes aside, Hiroyuki Sanada and Joe Taslim are doing some really great choreo here. I love seeing good, clean weapon choreo. You don't see it that much in movies anymore. And this right here is the textbook Kempo disarming technique. It's usually used when an unarmed opponent is fighting an armed opponent, and you use it to disarm their weapon, so I love seeing that. And that was such a clean sequence. That was 6 strikes without a cut. Looked great. And then this right here is all just the indulgent, power-driven Mortal Kombat stuff, which is fun to mix in with this really flashy sword choreo. The ice clone, so iconically SubZero. This was a really nicely choreographed sequence as well. It's difficult to pull off 2v1 choreo regardless of the situation. When you add weapons, it just adds another element that makes it that much more difficult. So I appreciate what they're trying to do here. The sequence was really short. I would have liked it to be a little bit longer just to enforce the idea that the teamwork is what beat SubZero. That was a really tricky track by Cole. And that was a cool stunt assisted by wire. Mortal Kombat is exactly the kind of movie I was expecting it to be. It's got some really great fighting, and there are some sections that really highlight the skill that they have in their cast. I do have to say the writing was very weak. But that's generally what you get with a movie adaptation of a video game, so can't say I wasn't expecting it. I'd love to hear what you guys thought of the movie. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and that's all I've got for you today. So take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you next time.